Hey, what's up, good people of the internet? Dan Tortora here with you, hanging out, and just wanted to really tell you what the quote meant that I put up as this story. Establish value, or value will not be established. And what I mean by that is, it's something that really almost 3 years ago I said on my show. I said on Wake Up Call in the morning. I said, if you don't establish value, then value will not be established. If you don't establish who you are and what your expectations are, then people won't know them. And, I try to put up positive things, that here on my story on Instagram at wake up call underscore DT, whenever it's one of my quotes that I've written myself, I sign it and I hand sign each and every single one of those. So, the signature is a little bit different. I hand sign them all as a way of kind of, personalizing it and showing you that I care, that I was, thinking about people out there today that needed a prayer, needed something positive in their life. So, whatever you're going through, I just want you to know that you will get through this. I think if we had a nickel for every time we thought we couldn't get through something, and we said to ourselves, I can't do this, I can't get through this, I'll never be able to, accomplish this or whatever it may be, we would be millionaires. And I want you to remember that. There were things in my life that I thought to myself weeks before, I'm never going to be able to get through this. I'm never going to be able to deal with this. I'm never going to get past this. And you look back on it, a week later, a few weeks later, a few months later, a few years later, and you don't even think about the thing anymore. You don't even remember, and you kind of just laugh about it. So, I think it's easy in the moment for us to feel like we can't. We can't do something. We can't accomplish something. We can't make it through something. Something doesn't go our way, and we're so afraid of what that means for the rest of our lives. And we give that power to other people, right? We give it to our exes, we give it to our bosses, we give it to maybe family members, maybe friends, maybe people in school, maybe peers at work, maybe total strangers. And, with social media, I always take social media and I feel that it needs to be used in a positive way. Social media was meant to bring us together, not to divide us even more, but to make the world small in a good way. And so I try to do that. That's why when I write those, personal, hopefully inspiring messages to you, hopefully they do inspire you in a positive way, and I sign each one of them. I said to myself, when I'm on social media, I'm constantly looking for positive things. So instead of just looking for them, why don't I become them? Why don't I put those out? And so sometimes I've put out positive messages on really, really tough days for me. Really difficult days, I've put out a positive message in hopes that I could spread some joy, spread some positivity, and I don't know, give you something, make you think, and maybe appreciate your life a little bit more. So I know it's hard. I know things don't always happen the way you want them to happen, and I remember as a kid that they said, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And I couldn't stand when people said that to me. It used to make me so mad. And now when people ask me, I say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And it's so true. And it's so real to me. I didn't like hearing it at 16, and now saying it, these years later, it makes perfect sense to me that if you want to make God laugh, you tell him your plans. You cannot plan out your life. I look at the places I've lived, and I look at how long I've lived there, and I look at the jobs I've done and jobs I've left, the things I've created, the things I've started, the things I stopped, the relationships I had, the friendships that I had, and the ones I never thought would come back, the ones that I never wanted to leave originally. My plans on having kids. I was going to be married, and I was going to have my first kid at 25, and that didn't happen. So, not married and don't have any kids. And So, and I still very much want to be a father and want to be married. And God had other plans for me. He had other plans for my career. He had plans for connections he was going to make with me and things he was going to do. And, I think it's important for us to tell God when we're focused on the one thing in our life that's not going right, to, thank God for all the things that are. And, I'm a culprit of that, where I'll complain and say, God, this part of my life isn't working. This is something that's not going the way that I want it to go. And a billion other things are going right. Like literally, you know, everything else is going right except for one thing. And so, I think it's important for me, for you, to say to God, and for me to say right now, like, God, thank you. Thank you for everything that's going right in my life. Thank you for the extreme amount of blessings that you've given me and everything you've bestowed upon me. Thank you for all of the amazing things in my life. And, everything that has gone right, things that I didn't even know. I mean, the blessings that I have received, I look back on this past week and past couple weeks, and feel like I'm living a dream. And I am, I am living my dreams. So I would tell you all, and shout out to my guy Cruz. What up, brother? Remember, we both said we were going to run for president, Tortora and Cruz, and very excited about that. Two Hispanics that have the opportunity to become president someday. That'd be really cool. So what's up, my brother? Cannot wait to see you go out there and kick some tail in college football. And we're going to build our relationship, and hopefully I'll be able to get you on the show a lot, and we'll be able to do some awesome things, because I have wanted you to be successful from the second that I met you. So much love to my guy Cruz and to everybody out there. But yeah, just spreading a positive message. That's what this is about. Establish value, or value will not be established. And it's such a crucial thing to really understand and know what I mean by that. And, full disclosure, when I came up with this quote, it was at a turning point in my life, a turning point I never thought I would have, something that was huge in my life and could have been really difficult. And I remember saying to myself, establish value, or value will not be established. When you're in a relationship, in business, in romantic stuff, in friendship, with family, neighbors, literally with anybody or anything, if you don't establish your value, then value will not be established. If you let people take advantage of you, then you don't have a great value. If you don't value yourself, other people are not going to value you. And when people take advantage of you, or they do negative things toward you, or they disrespect you, or maybe it's all about them and maybe they're selfish, you have to establish value, or value will not be established. And when you don't establish value, people continue to cross the line until there is no line anymore. And when you establish value, people make you feel guilty about it. If you're a good person and you set boundaries, some people that want to take advantage of you, they're going to say, oh, okay, like, you're not setting a boundary, you're being a jerk, or you're not being kind. A lot of times people say to me, what would Jesus do? Because they know I believe in God. So if I tell somebody I don't like the way they're treating me, or I forgive them, but I don't want to, have them in my life, or whatever it may be, they'll come back to me and say, what would Jesus do? Jesus would have forgiven me. Jesus would have let me be at the table. And they try to kind of guilt trip you into that. How someone treats you is not your problem. It's theirs. And what somebody thinks of you is none of your business. I think in the world we live in today, everybody wants to tell everybody what they think about everything. And people feel so comfortable sitting behind a computer and telling you what they think of you, which could be very negative, could be very disrespectful. And people are okay talking about it. And everybody says, let me have an opinion. And I'm like, why do people always say my freedom of speech, or I deserve the right to have an opinion, when they're saying negative things? What about saying positive things? What about being kind to each other? What about seeing somebody, that's really excited that they lost weight and they wore a bikini for the first time, and you say, congratulations to you? Or somebody has a baby, and instead of you being like, oh my God, more babies on my timeline, you're like, wow, new life in this world. What a beautiful blessing. Or, somebody gets a tackle on a team and you say, hey, respect to you, and I'm happy for you. Somebody gets a job. Why can't we be happy for other people? I don't get that. Jealousy, I don't have that. And envy and hate and negativity, I don't carry that stuff. And I find it strange that people do. And I don't really know what to say about it. I mean, I think you should be positive. And I think what do they say? That holding a grudge is like drinking poison, hoping that somebody else is going to die. And then they kind of go one step further with that. When somebody's your blood or they're your family or whatever, what do they say to you? They say, if someone's known you for a long time, they're like, well, you have to put up with me. Or if they're your family, they say, well, you have to put up with me. Or if they live in the same house as you, well, you have to put up with me. You don't have to put up with anybody. And anybody that's saying you have to put up with me is kind of admitting that they're a pain in the butt. And they're kind of admitting that they're not really healthy for you. And, I don't think you have to put up with anyone. I don't think you should have to put up with anybody. And I think that when we establish value in our lives and we set boundaries, I tell people, like, listen, I don't like the way you're treating me. Please stop doing this. If they continue to do that, be it a boss or a friend or a family member or spouse or whoever, you have the right to say, okay, you know what? You're out of my life. And that's okay. And what people always do to me is they say, what would Jesus do? Jesus wouldn't kick me out of his life. Jesus wouldn't do this. Jesus wouldn't do that. I'm like, the God I believe in would not want me to be stressed out all the time. And I tell people, to go back to the poison thing, if your mom gives you poison or your girlfriend gives you poison or your friend gives you poison or a stranger gives you poison, it's still going to kill you. So for someone to say, well, I'm your parent, so you have to drink this poison. I'm your girlfriend, I'm your boyfriend, you have to drink this poison. I'm your best friend, you have to drink this poison. I'm your peer in school, you have to drink. You don't have to drink, you never have to drink poison. And it's always going to kill you. So why would it matter who it comes from? If it's a bottle of poison, it's poison. So if someone's toxic in your life or they don't value you, you have every right to tell them not to be in your life for right now. And if they come back and say, well, how are you kicking me out of your life? I would say, I'm not kicking you out. You kicked yourself out. Because if you treated me with respect and dignity and you valued me, I wouldn't ask you to leave. And I guess that brings me to another point of people that kick out people that are good. Sometimes people push away good people and they bring in bad people or they bring in projects. You hear that in relationships all the time, that men and women like to date people that are projects that they can fix. They don't want to date and marry somebody who is put together and who is confident and who's healthy. They want to find someone who's unhealthy and they want to try and put them together. And I never understood that because it's not fun. So, hopefully as you're watching this video, you are thinking about if you've established value in your life, if you've established your value to your bosses, or if they walk all over you. Have you established value to your family, or do they walk all over you? Have you established value to your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your husband, wife, or your spouse, or whatever, your partner, your fiance, or do they walk all over you? To your friends, or do they walk all over you? To your classmates, or do they walk all over you? Because stress is stress. And the way that I've always lived my life is, if I'm dating someone who stresses me out, or I'm friends with someone who stresses me out, or I work with someone who stresses me out, or some random stranger stresses me out, none of it's good. But you are in control of your life. I think you forget that. When somebody writes something negative about you on social media, we hand the reins of our heart and our mind to them. When somebody disrespects us, that we live with or that we know or whatever, we hand our mind and our heart to them. Why? Your life is your own. God gave it to you. You're the author, right? So if you're the author, why are you letting people write chapters in your book? I always, I say the statement that you can't let people rent out loft apartments in your brain. Right? If your brain is an apartment complex, you can't keep renting out space to all these people. And that doesn't mean you don't listen to advice. It doesn't mean you don't hear people out. But God gave you the keys to your heart, into your mind, into your body, into your soul. He didn't give them to anybody else. So, yes, people can guide you, and yes, people can give you advice. But at the end of the day, and at the beginning of the day, and at the middle of the day, you have to make decisions for yourself. You have to decide what college you want to go to. You have to decide what job you want to take. You have to decide who you want to date. You have to decide who you want to be friends with. You have to decide if you're going to take care of your health. You decide, things that are going to do. Eventually, you decide. When we're little kids, our family decides for us, right? They burp us, they change us, they feed us, and whatever. But as you get older, you have to make those decisions. And I don't stand for people that don't have personal responsibility, or people that constantly are asking everybody all these questions, like, figure this out for me. I ask people advice, but I'm the one that has to make the decision. And so I said it's always good to have like a really good cabinet, right? It's good to have a group of people, however big that group is, could be 1, could be 20, but to have a group of people that you really trust and you value. But ultimately, you have to make your own decision, because sometimes even those people can't see what you see. And that's okay. Life is meant to be lived. And I feel like we don't establish enough value of ourselves anymore. We let other people dictate our value. We let how many followers on social media dictate our value. How many people like our picture dictate our value. How many people tell us that we're sexy or we're attractive or we're funny or we're whatever dictate our value. How much they pay us dictate our value. How badly they want to date us or whatever dictate our value. And your value should come from the inside out. God gave you your value. Got to understand, if you're made in the image and likeness of God, then you already have tremendous value. Every single person, if you're made in the image and likeness of God, which I believe we all are, that means every single one of us is equally valued. And it's a lot. So, you can't put a price tag on that. And I think you need to remember that. Because some people in your life that you work for, you date, you're friends with, they're going to value you, and you may think it's above what you deserve. You may think it's below what you deserve. You may think it is what you deserve. And I'm here to tell you that there's never too much love. There's never too much goodness. There's never too many hugs or too many kisses or too many laughs or too many good times and too many positive memories. You can't have too much of positivity. And if you feel like you're loved too much, or you're cared for too much, or you're kissed and hugged and, treated well too much, that speaks to something inside of you that you might really want to look at and heal, because I don't ever want to stop laughing or smiling or being around good people or having people value me and kiss me and hug me and appreciate me and want to hear from me and want to talk with me and text with me and meet with me and come see me. So, in a world that should be so much closer now because we have social media and it's supposed to bring us all together, I feel like it's divided us and it's actually spread us more far apart. So my job and my duty on social media is to change that and to tell you to establish value in your life, or else value will not be established. Know who you are. Know that you're a child of God. Know that the way that God sees you is so incredibly, amazingly positive that anybody that doesn't value and appreciate you doesn't deserve you. And you think about it like this. If you're willing to leave your toy out in the rain and not go get it, and let the dog chew on it, and let the dirt get all over it, and let the bugs get all over it, and it get rained on, if you're willing to do that with the toy, well, you don't deserve that toy. And if you treat people like a toy, you don't deserve that person. So if you're willing to leave something out in the rain, you don't deserve it. Maybe you forgot, and you run out and get it. But I'll tell you something. I forgot my water bottle in my car, and I could have went to bed. I could have poured myself a glass of water and went to bed. I went outside with my dog, and I got my water bottle because I value my water bottle, and I appreciate it. It came from a friend, and it keeps my drinks cold or hot. So I went and got my water bottle. If I can go out to my car and get my water bottle in the rain, then I can reach out and establish value to the people that I really appreciate. So if somebody leaves you in the rain and they don't come out and get you, they don't deserve you. And by the time they come out to get you, you should be gone already. Don't drink the poison. Don't stick around for people that don't value you. Love yourself, value yourself, establish that value in your life. And when people don't give you that, have the courage to walk away. God bless you all, and I'll talk with you soon. This is Dan Tortora. And as always, God bless, no stress, do your best.